a second. Hello, everyone. It's Annette Anthony with Exit Realty Corp International. You know what? This is a really special Techinar. Our theme for this month is the good that'll get you through, especially during these times of social distancing. You know what? Right now at Exit, we have a ton of content that our associates are leveraging. You know, we have a vast library, but I can tell you this right now is that we are doubling down when it comes to helping our agents stay focused on their business, helping them stay focused on their clients and prospecting. In fact, there's a resource that I want you guys to know in the Resource Center. Right when you log in, there's a main banner that says resources available, new resources available. And then it says hashtag action 2020. Just yesterday, there was 37 new resources, but today, because I just got done doing a webinar for one of our offices, there's now 44 resources. So there's a lot of business things that we're providing for our agents, but one thing that we really haven't discussed is, assembling the good that's getting us through. And I've been watching our panelists here today that I got to tell you, they're doing great things personally that I know it's going to bleed into their professionalism. And also they're doing things personally that is helping, agents in their office, or they're helping their families and their communities thrive. So I wanted to bring together our panelists. I'm so excited to have you meet them. They've not done a Techinar like this before, or a webinar. So these are fresh faces at Exit that I'm really excited for you to meet. We have right here to my left, we have David Bathurst. He's with Exit Realty Metro in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Welcome, David. We're so happy to have you.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Annette.
Thank you. And we've got Crystal Hart right here on the screen. She's with Exit Realty Denver Tech Center in Denver, Colorado. Welcome, Crystal.
Hi, happy to be here.
Thank you so much. And then we've got Melissa Huus from Exit Realty Missoula in Missoula, Montana. Thank you so much for joining us, Melissa.
Hey, Annette. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So, David, let's start with you. You've been doing something extraordinary with Prompter. Prompter is our affirmation app. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Prompter and what's your activity right now that's pretty impressive.
Well, I've been doing Prompter regularly now for more than 3 years. I'm up to a steady streak of about 730 days now, and my previous streak was 356. So I'm well over 1,200. But I had one day that I missed, and that one day at 357. Oh, was that a boot in the butt? So I vowed to myself that I wouldn't skip a day again. And so that was just over 2 years ago. And I find that I use Prompter to help me come up with the affirmations, because I really can't think of them. And I find that 9 times out of 10, there's 2 or 3 affirmations in the, they give me 18 to write instead of 12 at this level. And there's always a couple of affirmations that are really germane to what's happening in the real world. And it brings forth some calmness and clearness in the mindset.
So how is it helping you? Did you do affirmations before you were with Exit?
No, I never even heard of them. This is all new to me.
So how's it helping you personally?
I find that I actually write them the night before when I'm going to bed, and it helps me personally because it clears my mind. It removes all other thoughts from my mind when I start handwriting and scribing the affirmations in my little notebook, and I end up sleeping better because of it. And then when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I roll over and I take a picture and send it in Prompter, and I'm done for the day. And if I need my mind cleared during the day, I'll sit down and write them during the day instead of in the evening.
So what's your strategy, David? Do you have do you set up yourself a reminder in your calendar to not forget?
It's my morning routine that makes me not forget.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 things. I synchronize my Fitbit to see how well I slept with the app on my iPhone, and I open Prompter. Those are the two things before I get out of bed.
Did you notice a difference with when you're sleeping better if you're syncing up your app?
Oh, for sure, absolutely. It it just clears your mind, and they get a good night's sleep. It sets you up for the day's activities.
So if you were to recommend it to someone, how do they go to sign up for this?
It's just a question of going to prompter.ca or into the App Store, and in the Android App Store or the iTunes for the Apple App Store, and download Prompter. And you register. It's open to everybody. It's not just for Exit Realty agents, and it really sets up your day. I mean, as an example, during this COVID crisis. There's an affirmation that I'm writing right now. It's called, I am legally and financially protected perfectly. Now, how germane is that for today's situation?
Wow.
And then to feel good about myself and everyone around me. It just sets up the positive vibrations. And I pace myself perfectly so that all desired success manifests into absolute reality. And when you write that and you don't think about it, what happens? The phone rings and someone wants to list their house. I mean, it just falls into place. It's all with respect to the vibrations that you're giving off.
So what's your experience? I've seen people just say their affirmations rather than write them. What's your experience with writing them as well?
It implants it in your mind when you're writing them. I find, I thought I would type them at first, right? I'm a computer techie, and I try not to use paper because I find it clutters my desk, and typing doesn't have the same feeling. When you're writing, I find my handwriting has improved tremendously by writing them every day as well. And so that when I'm writing personal notes to clients, the personal note cards, the thank you cards and stuff like that, your handwriting is much more legible and much more distinctive as well.
I love it. Have you shared the app with friends and family? Give us
I
an
have
example.
with a couple, yes.
Give us an example of who you shared it with.
I shared it with my sister, and she was going through some stressful times because her husband had gone through a double lung transplant, and it helped her to focus as well. I mean, it's almost like doing prayers in some cases.
So it's affirming those
It's affirming.
positive present tense statements that over time it's what you become. It's what you manifest.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's wonderful. So prompter.ca is the website for people to go to. I love it. We're going to circle back with you in a little bit. So I want you to think
Okay.
about maybe a daily discipline that you could suggest to our audience. Okay, so I'll come right back to you. How about you, Crystal? Now, I was first, speaking to your owner, Cheryl White, of your office, and I actually saw a post of you demonstrating yoga, and it's something that the office was doing with you, and that you're creating this yoga exercise and then sharing it with your office. Tell us a little bit about how did that even become, and what is tell us a little bit about yoga and how this is helping others in your office.
Yeah, so Cheryl White is my employing broker, our franchisee, and she reached out and said, hey, we really want to focus on health and wellness for our next 6 weeks for our office newsletter. Will you do a video for us? And I said, yeah. Well, then she reached out and said, well, I need 6 of them. So I've kind of gone through a little learning curve on that too. I'm not very tech savvy at all. So recording a video and doing voice overlay and all of that is totally out of my norm. But I'm a yoga teacher. I've been teaching for about 7 years now. I teach adults, and I also taught kids at one point. Really disappointed when our studios got closed down. I was teaching 2 classes a week, and I missed my students a lot. So it was nice that Cheryl kind of reached out, because then I kind of supplemented that yoga videos. And so what we're doing is we're doing multiple videos and workouts during the week. We have some kickboxing and CrossFit, and then I've got the yoga on Mondays, and I'm just doing a 20-minute video, something that you can take for yourself to either use it as meditation or a workout or a way to just clear your mind for 20 minutes for the day. So it's been really good.
You know what I love that you said is that you had technical issues, not knowing, all right, how do I do this exactly? But this is what's happening as a result of this time, right? That we're in a situation where we can't go to these gyms, but we're now forcing ourselves to learn how to use technology. So how are you doing this and how are you getting it into the hands of your people?
Yeah, so the first video, it was a 20-minute video. It took me 4 hours to figure it out. I had to redo the flow twice, and I had to redo the voice overlay 3 times, and then getting it uploaded because the file was really too big was like a 12-hour process. And so now I've kind of figured it out a little bit. This third video, I've got a little bit more pinpointed on how to do it. And instead of doing a voice overlay, I'm just talking while I'm doing the flow, kind of like I would do with a regular class. And then I just kind of send it to our admins, and they get it ready and post it and send it out in our newsletter and on social media, and it's up on YouTube, and it's been shared quite a bit. I wasn't expecting that.
So do they need what type of special equipment or what should they be prepared for when they're going to start an exercise with you?
Yeah, so you can have a mat if you want, or it's not necessary, or maybe a blanket or a towel or something that kind of designates a space for you. And then if you have a couple of bricks, that's fine. That works really good. Or a couple of tomato cans works as well. Just kind of a little support so you have some kind of props just in case you need them. Not necessary though. I really try to do more of a beginner's session so that everybody can participate. And then I also cue in things if you want to take it further that you can.
So I'm interested. What in the world would you do with a tomato can?
Well, the blocks kind of help, like if you bend over or you're forward fold or you're kind of in the standing split, sometimes it's nice to have 2 blocks because you can't quite reach the floor. So the tomato cans can substitute in that, so you have a little bit of distance between yourself and the floor
I
to
get
hold
it.
on to. Yeah.
That's awesome. I would have the family size tomato can
Yeah, perfect.
just to give me a little bit more reach, right? Now,
Yeah, yeah.
what happened as a result? You guys are sharing this, and initially it was just for the office, but I understand that it's gone further than that.
Yeah, it's definitely gone much further than that, which is great. I wasn't expecting to get any traction like that, but it's been nice to be able to give back to the community. I get up in the mornings and I take, either a HIIT class or a yoga class, and I try to stick with my local studios to give them support still instead of seeking something online or through Amazon. So it's just nice to see that the people in our community are actually utilizing my videos.
So good. I just love that we're stretching ourselves in how we're able to reach people in different formats, right? So that we can help everybody. What's some of the reaction of your colleagues at the office?
I've gotten great feedback. Everybody says they love the videos. They're thanking me for sending, to take the time to send this out to give people a little bit of mindfulness and a little bit of peace.
Well, I've taken yoga before and I love it because it's different. It absolutely is. It just focuses on you and your breathing and slow movements. It's not hard impact. So I think that I love that you love yoga and that you are able to share it, with the associates in the office. It's going to keep them moving because
It
a lot
does,
of
for
people.
sure. And I'll tell you, when I was really sad when, not just because I was going to be missing my students when we had to close the studios, but for me, those 2 hours that I teach, those 2 classes a week, are the only time during the week that I don't think about anything else but my students, which is nice because we all know in real estate that it's 24/7. Your mind is constantly going. So it's a really good way to kind of escape the reality and bring yourself back and get grounded.
So, it's really important for our associates, right? As they're working from home and they're socially distanced, you got to keep moving.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah,
going
and
to
it's nice to to do some physical activity, whether it's in the morning or in the afternoon. And sometimes just doing some of that physical activity gives you a purpose.
For sure. And it's so healthy for you. So we're going to circle back with you
Yeah.
with, I'd love to hear like a tip or a resource that they can go to, or you can obviously share where they can go and connect with you so
Mhm.
that they can see these videos. I think that'll be really important. We'll circle back with you in just a minute, but let's have Melissa. You know what, Melissa, I saw that you are doing some incredible things with your family. You're cooking, but not now, there's so much conversation about Uber Eats and delivering, fast food and, contactless pizza, right? Where they'll deliver it. So it's all this food that isn't really good for you, but boy, it's delicious and it's comforting, but you're taking it to a whole different level with your family. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing for your family.
Sure. So we are still ordering. I am cooking at home. That's something we did beforehand as well. We do the majority of our cooking home. We're really lucky that my husband and my schedules match up most of the time. He's a firefighter, so he works a couple of 24-hour shifts and then he's home for 5 days. So we're lucky that way that we have the flexibility that one of us can cook. But inevitably, we're human, we're busy. There are days that neither of us are into it. So we are trying to order, once or twice a week from somewhere local. And it is pizza sometimes, but I do like to add in, there's a salad and other vegetables wherever we're ordering from. We just make sure that we're mindful when we are ordering that it's from somewhere local 99% of the time. We want to support those business owners that have supported us and our kids' sports teams and are there for us through our other, community events that we want to make sure that they're here to stay too. So we do, even when we're ordering pizza night, I order a giant house salad for all of us and we kind of go from there. And then when we're cooking from home, we just keep it normal, but we add in vegetables and give our kids the choices. You say, do you want broccoli or do you want carrots tonight? And give them some power in that too.
I love that. Give them choice, but there's going to be two really good choices. Now you have little ones.
I do.
What are you doing to stretch, your grocery shopping? What are you doing to provide them some really healthy, delicious, irresistible snack options for them?
I will say Costco is my best friend with 3 littles at home who, when kids are bored, it comes out as I'm hungry. So we just make sure that we're stretching that by making sure their snacks are fruits and vegetables. If they come to me and say they're hungry for the 40th time before 10 a.m., I say fruits or veggies, and they will either choose one or they'll go back to playing or finding another activity to do. So we just make sure that there's a lot of easy to grab fruits and vegetables, pints of strawberries, whole carrots. They love whole carrots right now. And they are less expensive than a processed food is. So going to Costco and grabbing a giant thing of in-season strawberries is going to cost me, $4. Whereas a bag of, or a box of, granola bars, which we do have too, but a box of those goes much faster and costs me twice as much.
So what might be some options that you would do with like a large, portion of the strawberries that you buy at Costco? What would you do to stretch that out with your family?
We like to set them out and just have, they can eat the strawberries whole and then pair it with something else, maybe a carrot, a granola bar or something like that. We like to cut them up and put them in other things, cereal, yogurt, especially, just pairing them with something that is going to be more filling for them, but still give them that choice and make it kind of fun and exciting for them.
Yeah. Do you have inspirations where you go for ideas on recipes and, especially for your kids? I'm sure you and your husband,
Sure.
Have a, better idea of what you guys like to eat, but the kids, making sure that they're staying, nourished and you're providing them something that they love. Where are some inspirations that you go to get some ideas?
Pinterest. I'm a Pinterest fail mom. They don't come out looking like they do on Pinterest ever, but it is still fun for the kids. It's fun for us to see the things come out. Maybe, if we're taking a strawberry and putting marshmallows on it, or to make a bunny or something, and it doesn't turn out like a bunny, but the kids have fun with it. And it gets them eating more fruits and vegetables, and it's using up those things in our house.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned something about your sports teams, right? Your kids are in sports, and no doubt that you probably that they have sponsored many of your kids' activities. What might be some of those? I think it's such a great idea to make sure to go back to those businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And leverage them. What are some of the companies that you're going back to? What are the businesses that you're going to?
Locally, in Missoula, a huge one for us right now, Bridge Pizza. They are doing no contact delivery. They support the local community just tenfold. Whatever they're doing at work, they're doubling down in the community. I like them. We support the Trough. They are doing family style meals, but also you can order basic groceries too, and they will deliver those. And they are owned locally, and they're giving back to the community. They always do. So those are my main businesses. I also, the Miller Creek Cafe, which is just down from us. They do a lot of sponsoring of different events and giving back to the community as well.
I love that. You know, the very companies that give dollars, financial dollars to little league teams or, you know, to help support the youth sports, we got to go back. We got to make sure that they're thriving, especially during this time. I can also think that we could probably, all of us who go to those places to eat, that we should write reviews, right? On their business pages to just let them know how much we enjoy their services. And if you can think of like your favorite server, include them, right, in the review. I think that'll be really good. I'm going to circle back with you, Melissa, because I want to know, what are you cooking for dinner tonight? Okay.
All right.
I want all the skinny on that. All right. So David, let's go back to you. Talk a little bit about what is it that you can provide as a tip, right, to keep people accountable to staying committed to Prompter. I mean, over 700 submissions in a row, guys. That's amazing. And I know your streak was bigger than that, but what do you suggest, David?
I look at it as a bit, I mean, I'm a competitive person, even though I'm a reserved CS personality, but I find that to stay ahead of the game, I write the affirmations for the next day, the day before, so that you have them ready to submit. And because we're always getting up in the morning, and sometimes we have to rush off if we're traveling or catching a plane or whatever, we forget to do things. And then all of a sudden, oh, I forgot to do my affirmations. And it's also part of Savers, which is the Miracle Morning process. But I think the biggest tip is to have a little notebook. You can get it at the dollar store. Have it with you all the time. Take it and put it on your night table. And when you're going to bed at night, you say, well, have I affirmed today? And then write them before falling asleep, and clears your mind.
I never thought to do that. That is such a great idea. So good. How about you, Crystal? What do you suggest? You know, what might be some resources that our agents can go to for some, you know, beginners yoga to give them those necessary breaks that they need during the day?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can head on over to our Exit Realty website, our YouTube page, actually, for our Colorado Exit. And all of my videos will be up there. I would also recommend starting with your local studios and help supporting some of your local yoga studios or whatever fitness you want to do. And if that fails, then you can kind of resort to doing some online, like Amazon Prime has some. But I would really recommend, you know, heading over to our Exit Realty YouTube and watching mine, or again, going with your local studios. Most of them are offering live classes. I know my studio is doing at least 3 live classes a day.
I love that.
Because then you have that interaction with the teacher as well.
So good. You know, that local businesses are doing that. There's a lot of companies that offer subscriptions. They're waiving those right now, you know, to take advantage of this opportunity, but focusing on local, huge. Yeah. I love that. Make sure, what was your YouTube channel again for your office?
Exit Realty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just Exit Realty?
Just Exit Realty. I'm looking at it now.
Okay.
We've got.
Awesome. Good deal. I just want all our, you know, all our watchers to know that they can participate. All right, Melissa, what's for dinner tonight?
We typically keep it pretty simple. We'll probably just put, I really wanted to grill, but we got a lot of snow overnight. So I will probably just throw some chicken in the oven. And of course, you know, I give the kids that option. It's 90% of the time they choose broccoli. So just keeping it simple. Last night we had our eat out dinner, so I'm just trying to make it, you know, get those vegetables back tonight. So
what's the prep? Are you going to bake? Are you going to?
I usually just bake it. Yeah, even the broccoli, I'll put it in some foil or a bowl with just some chicken stock and some seasonings, and put it in the oven. And it's really good that way.
Good. Do you post pictures of some of your meals that you do for your family?
Yeah, every now and then I do. I have one, I think I sent you the other night with the shrimp kebabs I did with all those vegetables.
So good. I
So
mean,
good.
I can see your kids are going to develop some great habits,
Mhm.
to enjoy these, great, delicious meals. I also want to remind, our audience that we have some resources too in Exit Realty Corp's website. So if you go to exitrealty.com, you'll see over on the right-hand corner an About section. When you click on that, you'll see Healthy Living. And you can go there, learn more, and we have a ton of stuff. It's our blog for Focus on Good Health. There are monthly calendars that you can click on under the lifestyle tab for every single month. So you have something healthy for you to do, every single day of the month. So for the next 12 months. So do take a look at that. All of our articles in the Focus on Good Health blog, you can copy those and you can share them with your friends, your family. You can put them on, if you have a monthly newsletter, maybe you're looking for content, you can copy any of that. You just copy the URL and include it in your, in your newsletter or your blogs, whatever you'd like, or social posts. One thing that I'm doing in my neighborhood is I'm much more intentional. I'm slaying in the kitchen. I'm baking, making just little treats. Or when we make dinner, my husband made a huge pot of soup, vegetable beef soup, all fresh vegetables, and beef. And we made so much that we were able to share with some of our neighbors. Not all of them, it wasn't that much, but we were able to share with some, and they loved it. We even brought the fresh bread. We brought the fresh bread that goes with it, and it really made them feel great. So I hope that when we get out of this time, the social distancing, that we don't readily go back to just our normal day to day, that we continue to do these things, the special meals, which I know you continue to do, Melissa, the yoga that I know, Crystal, you're meeting now this whole new sphere of people that maybe you wouldn't have met before had it not been for this time, right? And also you learned some great technology, and you overcame kind of some obstacles. We're such resilient people, right? David, you're breaking records with your use of prompter, but more importantly, you're sharing it with people where this can make a tremendous impact. So for our audience, let's not rush back to the new normal. Let's go to the new better, right? The better in each of us, because, it's really important that we continue to share and leverage these talents that have emerged as a result of this time that we've been socially distanced. But I want you to, we're going to follow up with each and every one of you. We're going to send you a follow-up video. We're going to also include the contact information for each of our panelists, because we want you to stay connected, because that's what it's all about, right? We want you to continue to share, the good that's getting you through. That's what this is all about. And we thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Make it a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.